Hello friends, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss about behavior therapy. So what is behavior therapy? The type of psychotherapy based on the theories of learning and aims at modifying maladaptive behavior and substituting it with adaptive behavior. So this is the definition. Just look at the definition. It's a type of psychotherapy. It is based on theories of learning and it aims at modifying maladaptive behavior, and this maladaptive behavior are substituted with adaptive behavior. So once again, it's a type of psychotherapy based on theories of learning and aims at modifying maladaptive behavior and substituting it with adaptive behavior. So it mainly depends upon the two theories of learning, that is operant conditioning by Skinner and classical conditioning by Pavlov. Very important. Operant conditioning by Skinner, classical conditioning by Pavlov. So this assumes, these theories or the behavior therapy based on these theories assumes that all behaviors are learned behaviors. All behaviors are learned behaviors. A behavior that is followed by reward is more likely to occur again. A behavior that is followed by reward is more likely to occur again. A behavior is learned easily if taught in small steps. A behavior is learned easily if taught in small steps. So these are the assumptions of behavior therapy. Then what are the characteristics of behavior therapy? It's a short duration therapy. Unlike other psychotherapies, behavior therapy is a short duration therapy. Usually it prolongs for 6 to 8 weeks. And therapists are easy trained. So you can train the therapist, or anybody who is having a basic knowledge in psychology can be trained easily in behavior therapy. The initial sessions are scheduled daily and later sessions are spaced out. And a behavioral analysis is carried out before planning behavior therapy. So before planning the behavior therapy, we do a behavior analysis using ABC. So that will be discussed. So what is behavioral analysis? It's also called ABC charting. A for antecedent. What is antecedent? Something which occurred before. So the circumstances under which the behavior began. So before the behavior, what was the cause for that behavior, or what were the incidents before that behavior which began. So that is antecedent. Then B for behavior, description of the behavior in detail. We will describe the behavior in detail. And C for consequences, what happened afterwards, what were the factors which helped in maintaining the behavior. This is ABC analysis or behavior analysis. So what are the techniques of behavior therapy? First one is systematic desensitization. The first technique is systematic desensitization. It is based on the principle of reciprocal inhibition by Wolpe. So the principle states that if a response is incompatible with anxiety is made to occur at the same time as an anxiety provoking stimulus, the anxiety is reduced by reciprocal inhibition. So this principle is reciprocal inhibition. So when a stimuli which is provoking anxiety is combined with a stimuli which does not provoke anxiety, there is a chance that it will reduce the anxiety provoking capacity of the anxiety provoking stimulus. That is called reciprocal inhibition. That's systematic desensitization. That means step by step you are desensitizing the stimulus. So steps in systematic desensitization. There are three main steps. First one is relaxation training. Second one is hierarchy construction. And third one is systematic desensitization proper. Relaxation training, hierarchy construction, and SD proper, that is systematic desensitization proper. First we will discuss about relaxation training. The patient will be trained to relax when anxiety provoking stimulus is encountered. The patient will be trained to relax when the anxiety provoking stimulus is encountered by using various techniques. Which are the techniques? Jacobson's progressive muscle relaxation or JPMR, then yoga, pranayama, hypnosis. So any of these techniques will be taught to the patient and he will be asked to relax whenever the anxiety provoking stimulus is encountered. That is called relaxation training. Next is hierarchy construction. What is hierarchy construction? The patient is asked to list all the anxiety provoking conditions in a descending order of anxiety provocation. So the patient will be asked to list down all the anxiety provoking stimulus in a descending order of anxiety provocation. That is hierarchy construction. Then SD proper. And now we are systematically desensitizing the stimulus directly. So this can be done either in imagery, that is SDI, or in real. So at first, the lowest item in the hierarchy is confronted. At first, the lowest item in the already constructed hierarchy is confronted. The patient is advised to signal whenever anxiety occurs. With each signal, he is asked to relax. After a few trials, the patient is able to control his anxiety. So after each anxiety provocation, the patient is asked to relax, and then thereby step by step he is able to encounter the anxiety provoking stimulus. Thus gradually the hierarchy is climbed till maximum anxiety provoking stimulus can be faced in the absence of anxiety. So by step approach, we can even combat the anxiety provoking stimulus at the top also by training like this. So step by step desensitization of the anxiety provoking stimulus is called SD proper. Then another technique other than systematic desensitization is aversion therapy. So here what happens, there is a pairing of a pleasant stimulus with an unpleasant response is done. So it is used for the treatment of conditions which are pleasant but felt undesirable by the patient. For example, alcoholism, transvestism, homosexuality, etc. So the principle behind this is pairing a pleasant stimulus with an unpleasant response. For example, alcohol is a pleasant stimulus for the patient and it will be combined with an emetic like apomorphine, or it can be combined with a low dose electric shock. So likewise, we are combining these two and given to the or produced to the patient. And once this is repeated, the patient will have an aversion towards the pleasant stimulus also. So unpleasant aversion can be produced by low voltage electric stimulus, drugs, or even fantasy. 20 to 40 sessions are needed with each session lasting for an hour. So this is about aversion therapy. Don't forget, pairing a pleasant stimulus with an unpleasant response is the principle. Then operant conditioning by Skinner. So there are two types of techniques in operant conditioning, either for increasing a behavior or for decreasing a behavior. First we will see for increasing a behavior. First we will see for increasing a behavior. First one is positive reinforcement. The desirable behavior is reinforced by a reward, either material or symbolic. So the person will be reinforced by giving a reward. The negative reinforcement, on performance of a desirable behavior, punishment is avoided. Negative reinforcement means not giving punishment. On performance of a desirable behavior, punishment is withdrawn. That is called a negative reinforcement. Then modeling. A person is exposed to a model behavior and is induced to copy it. That is modeling. Then for decreasing a behavior, the techniques include timeout. That is, reinforcement is withdrawn for the undesired response. Usually we will give a reinforcement to the person, and whenever he is performing an undesired response, we will not give the reinforcement. Then punishment. Punishment is given for the undesired response. Whenever the person shows undesired response, we punish the person. That is called punishment. Then satiation. The undesired response is positively reinforced so that tiring occurs. Satiation means it is usually applied to high intellectual individuals or matured individuals when they are not attending to the usual methods. what we can do is to say it positively. If somebody is asked you to study and you are not able to study, you are not studying very well and you are seeing cinema, then your mother will say, you just watch cinema, that's very good, you will fail in exam, that's much more good. Likewise they will say, so that you will have some kind of guilt feeling within you and you will go and study normally. So that is called satiation. Then flooding, the method of treatment of phobias. It is, we are exposing the anxiety provoking stimulus like a flood at once. How a flood happens, at once it comes without any notice. Likewise, we are exposing the anxiety provoking stimulus to the person so that maximum anxiety occurs at once, and later on the person identifies that nothing has happened to me, then his sensitization towards the anxiety is decreased. So that is flooding. It's a method or treatment of phobias. The person is directly exposed to the phobic stimulus, but escape is made impossible. By the prolonged contact with the phobic stimulus and therapist guidance and encouragement, the therapist model behavior, anxiety decreases and the phobic behavior diminishes. So therapist has a major role in supporting and encouraging the person to face this anxiety so that the further anxiety provocation is prevented. Then we will pass on to the next or sub classification or a modification of behavior therapy, that is called cognitive behavior therapy. What is cognitive behavior therapy? It's a type of psychotherapy which aims at correcting the maladaptive methods of thinking, thus providing relief from consequent symptoms. The therapists have an active role, unlike in psychoanalysis, and it was developed by Beck and Meichenbaum. Very, very important. Cognitive behavior therapy was developed by Beck and Meichenbaum. CBT schedule consists of 15 visits over a 3 months period. So here we are in cognitive behavior therapy. What we are doing in the thinking behavior, cognitive behavior is corrected. So there are some maladaptive thinking behavior in a person, as negative thoughts. All these are corrected by using some techniques so that the cognitive behavior or thinking behavior can be treated. So that is cognitive behavior therapy. So what are the indications of cognitive behavior therapy? First one is depression, then anxiety disorder, panic disorder, phobias, eating disorder, anticipatory anxiety, teaching of problem solving techniques, management of delusions and hallucinations. So all these are some of the indications of cognitive behavior therapy. Then what are the techniques of cognitive behavior therapy? There are two types of techniques, either cognitive techniques, then behavioral techniques. Cognitive techniques and behavioral techniques. What are cognitive techniques? First one is recognizing and correcting negative automatic thoughts. So almost all the persons experiencing cognitive behavior problems, they will have a negative automatic thoughts coming into their mind. So first thing is to recognize and correct the negative automatic thoughts, then increasing objectivity in perspectives and identifying and testing maladaptive assumptions, then decentering, taking them away from thinking about themselves. Then behavioral techniques. Which are the behavioral techniques? Activity scheduling, homework assignment, graded task assignment, behavioral rehearsal, role playing, and diversion techniques. So with these cognitive techniques and behavioral techniques, we can correct the cognitive maladaptive behaviors, and also teaching problem solving skills is also a part of the technique. So that's all about behavior therapy and cognitive behavior therapy. Study well, stay focused, work hard, and do maximum number of questions. You will succeed definitely. Thank you.